The final week of Jägermeister Cup group play continues in Madison tonight as the home side look to solidify their semifinal hopes. Meanwhile, the visitors aspire to make life as hard as possible for the fellow wildcard combatants. It's Madison and Omaha doing battle here, presented by Dairyland Insurance. Welcome one and all to this broadcast, brought to you on ESPN+. Let's take a look at the standings brought to you by Dairyland Insurance. For Omaha, they cannot win their group, but they do have the lead in the goals scored wildcard spot. They have 13 goals. The second best is at 10 goals. So the more goals they can score in this one, the better their chances are to be that fourth and final team in the playoffs. Meanwhile, for Madison, they just need to win this game, whether it be in the 90 minutes or via penalties, to keep Lexington or Knoxville from taking that final spot in the group. And they have found themselves in this position due in part to a 2-1 victory at home last time out in the Jägermeister Cup against the Chattanooga Red Wolves, but they did go down early in this affair. So they would have to find a response, and a response they would find. Garrett McLaughlin with his one and only goal in Mingo colors so far. And I'm sure Mingo's fans, Matt Glazer and Garrett McLaughlin alike, all believe that more goals are coming this way for the new Mingo man. Meanwhile, Devin Boyce, he scored quite a few goals this season, and Christian Cheney is another man who scored quite a few goals for Forward Madison this season. And right now, Matt Glazer is looking for more finishing from his side. 2 games scoreless in the last 2 competitions, and it's Christian Cheney who leads the way as far as options to score. But Garrett McLaughlin and Juan Galindres are other 2 names who could also look out for this evening. Meanwhile, on the Omaha side of things, it was drama in their last Jägermeister Cup game. A 96th-minute game winner. Steven Dos Santos falls to him, and he blasts it home to get all 3 points. But it's 3 points that won't be enough to help them win their group. They're just going to be looking for goals to score this evening, and Joe Gallardo scored a pair of them in their last matchup against the Richmond Kickers in league play, earning himself Player of the Week in Week 18. So if he's one of the many names, he's certainly one of the ones more likely to find the back of the net this evening. We'll see if he does so, or if it's someone else on his team that helps propel their wildcard advantage. It's a battle of the birds, but both sides will need to find their inner dog this evening for the bark at the park. Who will have more bite for 90 minutes? Let's find out coming up after this break. It's Forward Madison and Union Omaha up next.
Not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa.
Soy Juan Galindres. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Da, 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 da. Justicia.
Justice.
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 Justice from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person, with new vehicles arriving every day. Your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Here are our starting lineups brought to you by the Madison Concourse Hotel. 4 changes from the last matchup in USL League One play for Matt Glazer's side. Prentice, Murphy, Boyce, and Ferretti Sosa are in. Chilaka, Gebhard, Payne, and McLaughlin are out, but all of which are on the bench as options for the matchup as the minutes wear along. Meanwhile, on the Omaha side of things, looking at what they've got going, it is entirely the same starting lineup for Dom Casciato's side from their 3-0 victory on the weekend against the Richmond Kickers at home. So, I mean, hey, you win 3-0. No need to tweak with it. Pedro Dolabella, though, back on the bench. Impact substitution option for Dom Casciato after serving a 2-game suspension. That'll be the Owls in their road white unis, going left to right. Meanwhile, the Mingos in the home blues. Head official for this evening's match, Edson Carvajal. Both sides looking for another shot at glory after this evening's festivities. And Madison could guarantee a playoff spot with a victory. Omaha in a good spot, can make it an even better spot if they can find a couple into the back of the net. Once again, we welcome you in here on ESPN Plus. My name is Mark Schoenster. We're excited to be bringing you the action in what has been a tightly contested affair. Very competitive between these two sides in the 2 matchups they've had this season thus far. It's a 2-0 victory at home here for Madison, and then a 2-2 draw. As we look at our keys to the game, brought to you by UBS. For Madison, recently, they have been very hard to break down. And Matt Glazer says we need to keep that up, so if they can stay stubborn defensively, that are going to help their chances in this one. Meanwhile, Dom Casciato mentioned if they're going to find a result this evening, they need to stay true to themselves, to what they believe in when they have the ball, what they believe in principally when they don't have the ball. Always been such a pristine side as Timmy Mel jumps on that pass. Sends it over to Wolfgang Prentice. Prentice takes the shot and gets it by the keeper! It's the Wolf on Bark at the Park who scores 2 minutes into the game. Here's a look on the Dairyland replay. Wolfgang Prentice just gets it by Blake Malone, and he places it perfectly beyond the outstretched arms of Rashid Nuhu. And the Mangos mean business right out the gate. That is Wolfgang Prentice's 2nd goal in Jägermeister Cup competition, his 4th total in USL competitions this season. And how about that for a start? Opening statement for the Mingos as they look to lock in as the group winner. A goal brought to you by Dairyland, along with, of course, Wolfgang Prentice. So how about a start to this game as we get things going here. Here is our UW Health Sport Medicine injury report. Mauro Cicero out. He's due to suspension, getting a red card in the last game. Agustin Davila also out. Meanwhile, Omaha actually in a pretty good spot right now, health-wise. I already mentioned the only quote-unquote returning player to their 18 availability-wise is Pedro Dolabella, but that wasn't due to injury. Omaha get a free kick here. Early goal scored by forward Madison. Timmy Mel gets his first goal contribution of the season with an assist here. Wolfgang Prentice with his second Jägermeister Cup goal, which puts him at 2 goals in both league play and in cup play. Now the player of the week, Joe Gallardo. The dead ball opportunity against this Madison defensive unit. Gallardo sends it inside, headed away. Freddy Sosa got on the end of it, but then this volleyed effort from Zico. Lewis goes back into the mixer for just a moment. Now we're gonna get a corner kick for Omaha. This corner kick brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management. Canopy Wealth Management is donating $50 to Forward Madison FC's mini pitch fundraising project for each home corner kick taken by Forward Madison FC. So, not this one here, but surely there will be more Madison home corner kicks in this one, or any home corner kicks for that matter in this one. Gallardo sends this one side, headed away. Cheney returns to sender. They'll try again. Take 2 for Joe Gallardo. Very similar result. This time headed away by Kroll. Good recognition there from Freddy Sosa. That one was sputtering and Bart Shipman was making his way to it, but so was Norte Norti. So Freddy Sosa just acts as a barrier between the ball and Norte Norti, just to impede his progress. Just a moment to allow the goalkeeper to get there without any danger. So Madison are coming off back-to-back 0-0 draws, the last of which was on the road against Lexington, a game that Matt Glazer described as an okay performance from his side. They are coming off their scheduled mental health break during the season, and he could tell that the guys are just a little sluggish, a little rusty. Taking too many touches, too much time between passes, just weren't as sharp. I mentioned, though, that Male Knight was the man of the match as the goal scorer, Wolfgang Prentice, called for the foul there. Saying whenever the opposing goalkeeper is the man of the match in a matchup, it means you are doing some things right. You just got to put him in the back of the net. So all in all, he'd say a draw. Point share between the two sides was a fair result in that one. A little goal scoring drought they had quickly ended here in this one. Meanwhile, it was a 3-0 victory for Omaha at home over the weekend. It's the Richmond Kickers. Dom Casciato was pleased with the performance, and although never going to be satisfied with a single match and how things go until the overall season's job is done, he felt like they could have probably scored another goal or two in the first half, and then he thought maybe there are too many instances where the Kickers were able to get into the penalty area, into that attacking third, and have a chance, but he was pleased with how they closed off those chances once the Richmond Kickers got there. Once again, being down 1-0 for Omaha doesn't really make much of a difference for them Jägermeister Cup-wise in this game. Gallardo loads it up, caught by Bert Shipman. For them, all they want to do is give themselves a further lead in the goals scored category. For those unfamiliar, the Jägermeister Cup, it's 3 groups, and the 3 group winners automatically advance on to the playoffs. And then there is a wild card spot up for grabs for all 4 teams, and it's not points accrued that determines that 4th and final spot as it would in a standard competition. Instead, it's the goals scored that gives you that spot. Omaha with 13 goals scored. It's the 2nd most in the competition behind 21 from the Hailstorm. Means that Omaha are currently the team sitting in that wild card spot. It's a pretty good, pretty comfortable advantage they've got. The next 2 teams that are encroaching upon that are the Greenville Triumph and the Charlotte Independence at 10 apiece. Those 2 teams play each other tomorrow, one of which will win their group, which means that Owls fans will have to hope that that game doesn't turn into an overall shootout, because obviously if one team scores a bunch of goals, they just win their group, and that's okay. Omaha still has the most goals scored by any non-group winning team, but if that game ends up turning into a 3-3, 4-4 match, that's when things get a little hairy, especially if Omaha can't find the back of the net in this game. There's a look at the flock end with all the Madison fans, some of which have brought their dogs for Bark at the Park. They always bring the energy, as not only would them winning this game mean that they solidify their spot in the group and make it to the playoffs, but they would also guarantee themselves at least the 2nd most points in general in Jägermeister Cup play, which would mean they'd host a playoff matchup. We have never seen a playoff game taking place at Breese Stevens Field. Boy, would that be an awesome sight to behold. Here's Kroll. Kroll still with it. Out to Prentice. Prentice inside. Was looking for Christian Cheney. Falls to Boyce. Devin Boyce takes the shot. And it goes straight to Rashid Nuhu. Here's Steven Dos Santos. Gets it to glance off of Mitch Osmond. See Matt Glazer there standing in front of his bench, waving some orders to his team. They'll be happy with the fact that they are able to find the back of the net so quickly in this one and go into this sturdy, stubborn defensive state that they've been so good at, so effective at in recent, well, not even just recently, just throughout the season. That's the element of the game that he's been very happy with his team. It's been the finishing that maybe has been lacking just a bit. Problem so much so that he ended up actually putting Garrett McLaughlin, Juan Calindres, and Christian Cheney in the starting lineup in that last game. Is well, that thought. Here's Steven Dos Santos, but that thought didn't have to be helpful along the offside flag, denying that offensive opportunity for Omaha. Started all 3 of those strikers, Matt Glazer, and when I asked him how he felt that went, he thought he did well. Each of them had a good chance. He thought the buildup was more of the problem in that game against Lexington. He said, we need to set those guys up more, give them more 1v1 opportunities to make a play, because they're all capable of doing that. Making a play, that is. Here's Kroll. Pressured by Joe Gallardo. Gallardo, a player who's had some great evolution since making his way to Union Omaha. Tom Casciato, who you can see at the bottom of the screen right now, issuing some orders to Dion Akoff, told me that he's a great pro, talking about Joe Gallardo, and has a great mentality now, and surely his work rate is one of his strengths. He's a guy who just runs around quite a bit, gets all over the pitch. Prentice, inside for Galindrez. Galindrez still with it, out to Prentice. Prentice plays it back across in this one. A little flurry out of play. Caught by a fan in the flock end. Playing it over to Norte. Two of them playing in the center of the pitch this evening. Knapp scoring his first professional goal against the Kickers. This time out. Spell of bad luck there for Steven Dos Santos, gets knocked over and gets hit with the ball after the fact. Juan Galindrez will go into the books, his first booking in cup competition. Here's a look on the Dairyland replay. Came in late, doesn't get any of the ball. And that's just a little insult to injury there for Steven Dos Santos. So the Colombian forward going to the books here early on. We'll have to pay mind to that the rest of this matchup. Joe Gallardo, the set piece man for Union Omaha. It's the go ahead from our head official. This one will bend out wide. Devin Boyce will deal with it. Good, well-coached side is how Matt Glazer described this Union Omaha team, as Gallardo feeds it in centrally once again. This one beyond reach of Norte. Glazer said that his side's going to have to be good in all three phases. He's enjoyed how tough they've been to break down. Ostrom swinging this one inside. Dos Santos gets a glance off the defender, Jacob Kroll, earning himself a corner kick for his side. Third corner kick for Union Omaha. And yet another set piece opportunity for Gallardo. Here's Joe Gallardo. A lot of air under that one. Headed towards goal. Saved by Shipman. The German called to action there. Knocks it away with both his hands. Denies entry on that header. It'll be another corner kick for the away side as they try to find an equalizer. Gallardo. That one headed along by Dos Santos. Couldn't put it on frame. Let's take a peek at that chance from the previous corner kick. Steven Dos Santos, the one who heads it down. Deflected out for Madison throw. A USL League One matchup kicks off September coverage on the CBS Sports Network. Player shield holder Union Omaha visits newcomer Spokane Velocity FC in their first ever regular season clash. September 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. That'll be the next time that Dom Casciato's men will take to the pitch after tonight. Should be a good one. And if it's anything like the other USL League One match that featured on CBS Sports Network, then we're in for a classic. Get a Canopy Wealth Management corner kick here for the Mingos, their first of the evening. Wolfgang Prentice will go over to the right corner flag to take it. The goal scorer in this game scored in the 2nd minute. Prentice with the service, headed away by Mastrantonio. Back up for Cheney, and Rashid Nuhu gets there first. Has the advantage of being able to use his hands. It was tight though. Fans, get yourself the latest Forward Madison merch online or at the Flamboyance team store at Brees Stevens Field. Norte. It's the brakes on that one. Plays it for Dos Santos, who chests it down. Steven Dos Santos got a piece of it, but not enough to make it really dangerous. Bernd Shipman easily able to bring that one into his chest. Taps this one back to Mitch Osmond. Villalobos doing well there under pressure. Now Prentice switches it over to Cheney. It's knifed away by just a fraction by Luca Mastrantonio. Makes it beyond the reach of Christian Cheney. Well done by the Italian center back. Sosa curls this one in, headed away by Akoff. And Joe Gallardo gets on his bike to clear that one away. Resourceful. Really the only call that he can make there. He did so very well. Even got some ooze from the home side fans, who are certainly partisan to him making a mistake. Oh no, that's simply disastrous. A devastating own goal for the Owls. And Madison now up 2-0. Nuhu not where the defender expected him to be on that pass. Milanese was trying to get it away from Devin Boyce. And Nuhu was in one spot, and the pass was at another. And it had enough pace to it that the veteran goalkeeper could not get back in time. So Devin Boyce will celebrate the pressure he applied there. But that is simply a brutal goal for the Owls. It's brutal against the Owls. As Forward Madison are now up 2-0. Feeling very, very comfortable. Lexington fans and Knoxville fans will bemoan the way this game has unfolded. That goal brought to you by Dairyland. Certainly one of the least enforced goals that Madison will score. Dion Akoff will cut to his right. He swings this one in, and this one deflects wide. Steven Dos Santos trying to get on his bike. Joe Gallardo will once again return to the corner. Gallardo plays it inside, headed away by Sosa. Here's the volley. It will not dip down in time. USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a Western Conference matchup of teams fighting to stay in the playoff hunt. Last season's champion Phoenix Rising FC hosts FC Tulsa Friday, September 6th at 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Some late night action for those of you on the East Coast. Meanwhile, a little bit earlier, of course, if you're a fan of the likes of Phoenix Rising or FC Tulsa, a little bit earlier in the day, but either way, a nighttime showdown. Just now joining us 25 minutes in. A goal 2 minutes into the game by Wolfgang Prentice gave Madison the lead, and then just a debilitating own goal. Marco Milanese and Rashid Nuhu not on the same wavelength. It was a pass back to the keeper. Completely went by the keeper. That brings us to a discussion and a thought process about this game in particular. And that is, once again, the reminder that winning this game doesn't do anything for Omaha standings-wise. Of course, you could look at it from a more of a run of form sense in that these games are interspersed with regular season matches, so a win is always good for your run of form throughout a season. I mean, they've got a game on Wednesday, and it's a game that absolutely matters, and results have an impact. So it's not like you could just throw this match away, especially when you do have the motivation to score goals to pad your lead in the goals scored category, which then begs the question, how aggressive are you coming into a game like this where getting 3 points doesn't do anything, but getting goals does? And I talked to Dom Casciato about that and the different things that have to be considered. And he said, look, it would be a little short-sighted to just go in, just guns a-blazing, and being super aggressive. He said, we're going in to win the game, and if we win the game, that means we've scored some goals, which obviously helps our case. He mentioned maybe near the end of the game, they turn on the aggression dial. And that was depending on how things go. Well, Akoff threads this one inside. No one's there to stop it now. And Union Omaha get one back. Zico Lewis scoring his first goal. Here's a look on the Dairyland replay. Akoff gets that one to bounce by Bernd Shipman at that point. Bernd Shipman is on his stomach and cannot react in time as Zico Lewis right next to Ferretti Sosa Both contest for the ball, and it goes in the direction in favor of Zico Lewis. Which means the Owls are back within a goal. So I was just talking about it. How aggressive do you get? It's not late enough that you throw caution to the wind if your goal is to win this game. But that question was going to beg itself as the game went on. But now that it's a one-score matchup once again, perhaps that is a conversation that gets tabled. Bear Insurance, a proud sponsor of Forward Madison FC, is based in Madison and has provided protection and peace of mind to businesses and individuals throughout the state of Wisconsin since 1928. Murphy to Cheney, now Boyce. Out to Sosa. Plays this one inside and won't make contact with any teammate and go out for a goal kick. And an interesting one here so far. A goal 90 seconds into the game. An uncharacteristic own goal, and then an answer from Union Omaha to make it 2-1. Played across, and Milanese is the one who collects it as Juan Galindres is still down. Play will stop as Edson Carvajal blows his whistle and talks to a couple of Madison players. Galindres still on the ground. Catch it at the corner of the screen. Galindres with a head full of turf beads. Still ailing. The lower portion of his right leg. Casciato's men. Chance to confer amongst themselves and handle the rest of this first half. Once again, I'd like to thank Bear Insurance, proud sponsor of Forward Madison FC. Helping the state of Madison since 1928, providing protection and peace of mind to businesses and individuals. Drop ball for Blake Malone, the youngest of the members of that back line for Dom Casciato. At this point in the game, Union Omaha with a .23 expected goals. Madison with a .18. One of the things Matt Glazer had been hoping his side would do better at is if his team has a better expected goals than the other side, then they need to be collecting 3 points. Now in this case, they've got 2 goals with a .18 XG. Now granted, that second goal, not exactly an example of great finishing, but the first one certainly was. Gallardo on the end of that errant pass. Here's the deal once again. Omaha down by a goal, but a 2-1 scoreline is more beneficial to them than if they were down a goal 1-0. Putting them at 14 goals scored, which makes it that much harder for the likes of Greenville and Charlotte and the rest of the wildcard hopefuls to catch up. Dion Akoff along that right-hand side, wins another corner kick this time, earning the deflection off of Jacob Kroll. Joe Gallardo from the corner flag. Right-hand side. Another good service as this one gets headed away. Christian Cheney using that noggin on the defensive end. Yet another corner kick from the visiting Union Omaha. Already had over 5 of them now. One more error under this one. It'll be Charlie Ostrom, one of the newer faces for this Owls side. Santos to Gallardo, to Blake Malone. That one's jarred free. Of course, you can hear all of the drumming and chattering of the energetic fans there at Bree Stevens Field. Support for Madison. Of course, there's also, this is a good time to shout out all those at the Cross Strain Brewing Company. Watch party for Union Omaha. Hope you're all having a good time there, and as always, make sure you tip well. Knocked out a play from Luca Mastrantonio. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Prentice. Shrugging off Dion Akoff. Wolfgang Prentice losing his balance there after some bearing in by the veteran Dion Akoff. Free kick for Madison incoming. Comes to how Madison approaches on the attack. Matt Glazer said that they know the spaces they want to exploit in each game. Sometimes the build-up will be a little more structured, other times it's more free-flowing. Just depends on the shape they're in, the personnel on the pitch, what kind of matchup it is, etc. Always never a one-size-fits-all when it comes to just about anything in general in life, but certainly the case in how this Mingo team wants to break down opponents. Will play the one over to Ostrom. Lewis tried to parry that one forward for Norty. Hefty challenge there from Milanese. Ref says it's all good. Milanese still with it. Out to Ostrom. He plays that one inside, knocked away. And then a second effort, further dishes it out of danger for now. Now Akoff. Plays it to Gallardo. Joe Gallardo with a nice touch. Gallardo still going! That's a great save! And he gets there before it rolls over the line. Bernd Shipman gets the first piece. It was still in danger, and he's able to scramble before it breaks that line. Gallardo doing so well here. That's a great reaction from Bernd Shipman, and then he keeps his awareness on. He knows the job's not done. And he gets there as quickly as possible and keeps it from being a tie game. Now here's Galindrez to Boyce. Sosa now. Can't get by Ostrom, so he'll play this one back to Boyce. Lots of exciting moments in this one, obviously with 3 goals scored. What you would anticipate. Still Sosa. Couldn't get that one by the center back. Voting for Eddie Sosa up against one of his former clubs. Union Omaha, a team that ended up winning it all with. He proceeded to make the jump, playing the USL Championship, and now has found his way back in the League One ranks, this time with Matt Glazer and forward Madison. Steven Dos Santos going down. The challenge from Mitch Osman came swiping in from behind. Another set piece opportunity for Union Omaha, but first and foremost, concern lies on Steven Dos Santos. Prime goal scorers for Union Omaha. Seems to be all right. I'll just have to walk that one out of the system. That's just who you would think it would be behind the dead ball, Joe Gallardo. A long distance from goal. So he's got bodies lined up all along the 18. Let's see what Omaha's cooked up here. Gallardo floats it inside, headed towards the frame, and Bernd Shipman, after it bounced out of his clutches the first time, he falls on top of it. Madison with a 2-1 lead. They need to win in regulation or in penalties to win their group. So right now, sitting in position to do just that. move them into the Jägermeister Cup semifinals. There is a scenario where both teams playing here this evening. As a matter of fact, it's right now the most likely of scenarios that these two teams will both be making it in to the knockout stage, as a hit to the head warrants a check on Wolfgang Prentice. There's a look on the Dairyland replay, and now that's going to rattle a little bit. It's protocol that you get checked for a concussion in moments like this. Certainly not wearing metal helmets and tackling each other, but definitely a sport where concussions are certainly of a risk. Not just from getting hit in the head with the ball, but when you even jump up and hit each other's head. Another instance where there is that risk of head contact. So we're going to get 3 minutes of stoppage time tacked on here, brought to you by Jess Coffee Co-op. Once these 3 minutes have concluded, we'll go to halftime break, where I'll take you through the highlights from the last round of Jägermeister Cup play. We'll look at the upcoming schedule in both regular season and cup competitions. To Gallardo. No one there to receive it for Omaha. Boyce had nowhere to go with it himself. He continues to be a pest once the ball is taken away from him. Ostrom. What he could to keep that play alive going forward for the Owls. Boyce will play it over to Murphy. Christian Cheney now against Mastrantonio. Cheney gets dragged down. And it's going to be a free kick. Looks like just outside the penalty area. Christian Cheney wishing that maybe that contact had taken place just a step or two later. Yellow card given to Luca Mastrantonio, his second in cup competition. Yellow card brought to you by Dairyland Insurance. Looked like he was going to get beat there by the big striker, Christian Cheney. So he resorted to the most desperate of measures. We'll see who ends up taking this one. Appears to be Mitch Osmond and Christian Cheney who are by it. It's Cheney, and it hits the wall. Kroll getting a piece of it. And we've got another player down, so the whistle will blow quickly. Jake Kroll, who's clutching his knee. At least that's what it appears to be, as trainers are getting waved on by Edson Carvajal. A yellow card now been given to Christian Cheney. So Cheney with his third yellow card in the Jägermeister Cup, as Osmond has to get him away. Make sure that Cheney doesn't get himself into any more trouble. Mitch Osman wearing the captain's armband, so he is the appointed liaison between his team and the head official on the pitch. He's the one to talk to the head official. Jake Kroll still on the ground. Man from Indiana. Been such a consistent fixture for Matt Glazer. They're in his second season with the Mingos. Took a lash at that shot. Didn't catch quite how he came down after letting that ball fly. That's good news. You would think, given the fact that the 3 minutes have transpired, that they won't decide who will replace them or if he'll be replaced. And that's what it was. It was the landing. Landed awkwardly on that left leg and looked like maybe his knee buckled even just a little bit. So now we look to see play resume. Sure, it won't be for that much longer. So there is your halftime whistle. 2-1 in favor of Forward Madison. An early goal and an own goal in their favor. Zico Lewis finding the response after going down 2-0. Union Omaha getting one back. We'll see what these two sides are able to accomplish in the second 45 minutes of action. So we'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll get you some Jägermeister Cup highlights here on ESPN+. See you then.
Tomorrow, we've been expecting you. At TrueStage, we've been preparing for tomorrow for almost a century, helping businesses give their customers, members, and clients what they need to move forward with confidence. Because for us, the future brings possibility, protection, innovation, growth. With financial solutions across insurance, investments, and technology, the people you serve can take on tomorrow, today. So what are you waiting for? Tomorrow, here we come.
It's an S. Oh, not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa.
Soy Juan Galindre.
I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin.
Da, 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 da. Justicia.
Justice.
Justice. Justice.
Justice from the ground up. Justice from the ground up.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
I've always been a storyteller. I capture those beautiful moments, things other people miss. My health took an unexpected turn, but my care team put my needs in focus, designing solutions to support my ambitions. Now that's just a footnote in my journey, a small part of a story that's still being written. UW Health, remarkable.
We are back here for halftime, brought to you by Jess Coffee Co-op. Your scoreline, 2-1 in favor of Forward Madison against Union Omaha in this final match week of Jägermeister Cup play. My name is Mark Schnoetster. Happy to have you here on ESPN+. As we start our halftime show here, first off, we welcome and thank the Sonic U12 boys soccer team and girls soccer team as they are tonight's Unity Point Health Meritor Youth Soccer Spotlight of the Night. Thank you, Madison area youth soccer clubs, for your continued support. Now let's take a look at the highlights from the Week 7, Round 7 highlights from the Jägermeister Cup. Let's start off in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Independents are trying to keep their cup hopes alive. The Jacks have to keep Greenville from winning, not only because Greenville would lock up the group if they get 3 points, but also they need to acquire points to keep up with Greenville. But Luis Alvarez in the 8th minute sets off the home side with high hopes, giving them a 1-0 lead just 8 minutes into the game. But 2 minutes later, Liam McKinnon, having been on a goal-scoring dry spell in both league and cup play, gets back on the score sheet to tie things up, and it would stay tied for another 60 or so minutes until Justin Correa, in just his second game as a Jack, scores the game winner, which is when we pivot over to a rivalry game that will go scoreless throughout 90 minutes, which means it's pens in the barrel brawl between Lexington and Knoxville. A couple of good pens would be taken, but only one team would go 5 for 5 at the penalty marker, and it would be Lexington collecting that extra point. Nico Brown would wait and get the game winner to solidify it for the home side in this one. Then would bring us over to our next clash, this one in City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. The Kickers and Tormenta doing battle. Another early goal. 6-minute finish for Niall Watson. Gives the visiting side the 1-goal lead as he celebrates in front of the Red Army. But then it would be just about 15 minutes later that Emiliano Terzaghi would be on the assisting end. A wonderful ball served forward for Justin Succo. Would tie things up at 1 apiece. No more goals would be scored except from the penalty marker after the final whistle. Richmond would collect that extra point as we see Ryan Sierkowski here win it for Richmond from the penalty marker spot, which leaves us with just one more game on a Tuesday as Spokane Velocity host the Hailstorm. And the story of the Jägermeister Cup has got to be this Northern Colorado Hailstorm team. If you want to be more specific, it would be Bruno Rendon. 7 goals scored in 7 Jägermeister Cup matches. I mean, I think they just need to trick this guy into thinking every game is a Jägermeister Cup match because he has scored so frequently in this competition. Luis Hill would find a response to make it 1-1, but then 2 goals would be scored following up on this, all of them in the second half, mind you. 4 goals total in the second half of action as the Hailstorm not only lock up 3 points in this game, but would also be the first team to clinch a spot in the knockout stage of the Jägermeister Cup. With that in mind, we're going to step aside after this. When we come back, we'll have more news for you around the USL. We'll see you then.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
The best nights start with Jägermeister. Made with 56 botanicals. Always served ice cold.
Take a miracle to come back from this. Heartbreaking end to the season. But what's this?
For the moments when anticipation.
Clock's counting down. 5 seconds. 3, 2.
Becomes celebration. Jägermeister. Meister the moment.
Go right up through the middle. A shot. Wow! Masango Akali. Long range shot from Nordy. Stopped and that one trickles in.
mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
It's an S. Not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia. Justice. 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 Justice from the ground out. Justice from the ground out.
Tonight's Dental Health Associates fan of the game is Kristen Bull-Leon. Thank you for going full Mingo and enjoy Bark in the Park night. Now, I have the question, is the dog's name or is that the dog's owner name? I gotta have an answer to that question. I kinda love the idea of a dog having a full-on name though. That would be pretty amazing. Shout out the Bark in the Park. Gotta love dogs. Here is your Round 8 schedule and scoreboard brought to you by Electric E-Bikes. They just went final in Richmond. Justin Suko scoring the game winner in that one to make it 3-2 in favor of the Kickers. Won't be enough for them to advance on, but perhaps they'll be looking to take that 3 points and help them carry some momentum in regular season play. Meanwhile, a lot of other great games on the slate this week. I would recommend watching the Greenville Triumph Charlotte Independence game tomorrow as those two teams look to vie for the victory and get their group locked up and punch a ticket to the playoffs. Either team with all 3 points would lock up that group and make it to the knockout round. Meanwhile, we've also got the upcoming schedule for the next regular season week coming up next week, brought to you by Dairyland. Starting with Wednesday's game on the CBS Sports Network, of course, Spokane Velocity and Union Omaha doing battle, and then Omaha will once again play on the weekend against Greenville. 2 big games for them. Meanwhile, Madison will clash with the Chattanooga Red Wolves on ESPN Plus on Saturday. With that, we're going to go to another break in the Just Coffee Co-op halftime show. When we come back, we'll have the first half highlights and stats for you here before we get the second 45 minutes kicked off for you. We'll see you then.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person. With new vehicles arriving every day, your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
It's an S. Not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia. Justice. 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 Justice from the ground out. Justice from the ground out.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Here are your first half highlights from Fort Madison in Union Omaha, and it started just about 90 seconds into this game. Timmy Mel meets Wolfgang Prentice, meets the back of the net. 1-0 in favor of Fort Madison to get things started here. These highlights brought to you by the Just Coffee Cooperative. Then in the 22nd minute, this one not as much a Fort Madison goal as it is a mistake And a crucial one at that for Union Omaha to make it 2-0. Rashid Nuhu, not where Milanese anticipated him being. And that ball just rolls into the back of the net as Nuhu watches hopelessly. But a couple minutes later, the Owls would find a response, and it does them much good in their aspirations to make it to the playoffs in the Jägermeister Cup. Zico Lewis gets this one by the keeper. It's a situation where Bernd Shipman lays out for it, and is way too far away from the goal in order to make that stop, but he would make the stop twice here. Denies Joe Gallardo, and then tracks back in a hurry to get to that ball before it rolls over the line, equalizing the game. So it's 2-1, and here are your halftime stats brought to you by Rhyme. It's a game that Omaha have had the edge in most statistical categories. They also have it in expected goals with a .69 to .28 advantage. But when you have an own goal the way that Omaha had an own goal, that's going to put you behind in a lot of matches. Well, that is where it stands at this moment. But again, worth reiterating in case you're just now tuning in, Madison are the ones that need the actual game result. Union Omaha, they just need goals. That's as far as the structured format of the competition is concerned. All they need are goals. Of course, they'd always like to win the game, and that's the objective. But, you know, that's the most important thing when it comes to their chances to make the playoffs are the goals scored. As we take a look at the news and notes across the USL. First off, I'd like to shout out the Indy 11 in their run in the US Open Cup. Came to a close in the semifinals on Tuesday, losing 2-0 to Sporting Kansas City. Meanwhile, as far as the Jägermeister Cup is concerned, semifinals will begin in September. So Madison and Omaha fans, both of which in a good spot to make it to the semifinals. They'll need to make sure they keep their calendars open for when those dates are officially announced. And of course, new head coach for Westchester SC. As one of the many expansion clubs in USL League One get closer and closer to being ready to go as the league continues to get bigger and bigger. And here is a substitution to start off the half. Juan Galindrez comes out. Garrett McLaughlin comes in. Galindrez, who was on a yellow card, will make way and make sure there's no risk of going down a man or getting that red card suspension as well. When you got a talent like Garrett McLaughlin sitting on the bench, it's a pretty nice luxury to have. The Owls find any more goals here in the second 45 minutes. Switch ends, Omaha going right to left, Madison left to right. Edson Carvajal, our head official, will be the one to get things going again. And blowing the whistle, sounding off the action. Let's see what's in store for us. I didn't see any other substitutions take place. It was Jacob Kroll who was hurt right at the end of the first half. It seems after getting checked on, intended to, that he's good to go for the second 45, which is great news. And another great news, we're back in action. And there's Kroll there, playing up to Villalobos. We welcome in any trickling Richmond fans or Spokane Velocity fans who decided to turn this one on after the end of that game. And try out an exciting one over there at City Stadium. We've had an exciting one here too. There's confirmation of our one change coming out of the break, brought to you by Festival Foods. Galindrez out, McLaughlin in. Boyce. This one deflects and goes off of the arm of Ferretti Sosa, so any opportunity to continue forward there. not a legal one. So no personnel adjustments for Dom Casciato's side. Doesn't mean there weren't tactical ones made during the break. Boyce sliding to keep it in play. Murphy sends it inside. Cheney now with the back heel. No one's around for it though. Lewis. Switch the point of attack. A lot of space over there on the right-hand side for Gallardo, but he loses that space in the time it took for him to bring in the ball. Norte. Play it to Blake Malone as Dion Akoff receives it now. Norte always such a steady player, both during his time the Hailstorm and now here with the Owls in Omaha. Knapp over to Akoff. Dion Akoff. Nice servicing ball inside. And Zico Lewis maybe should have left that one for Ostrom. It was stepping in, and Lewis had to make quite the effort just to connect with that ball. Meanwhile, Ostrom, still on his feet, was swiping in. That's an opportunity to the Ways side for the Owls. See there, Dom Casciato in the white t-shirt. Pretty standard for him. I think for certain, see him there on the side of the pitch. It always looks like the cogs are turning. He's always assessing information and the different options that he and his team have. I asked him about how long it takes to sort of get an idea of what's happening in the game and the way the game is going. And he said, well, first, really the match is always evolving. But the first question you're asking yourself as the game goes on is the game looking the way you prepared for it to be? Or the other team doing what you thought they'd be doing? And if that's the case, then you can start following the script, but that can change at any moment. And with those changes, you have to adjust accordingly. And that's something they're doing throughout the match. So there isn't really a specific window as McLaughlin takes it forward. Garrett McLaughlin! Oh, that's a great save from Nuhu. Just gets a piece of it. Pushing it up just enough to hit the crossbar. Rashid Nuhu looked to be in a dire spot, and he certainly was. But he shows his goalkeeping prowess there, as Shipman had to make something happen there. Norte out to Gallardo. Joe Gallardo. For a moment looked like he had a head for goal. Dion Akoff. It's knocked away by Prentice. All right, let's take a peek at that Rashid Nuhu save. Dairyland Insurance replay. Does he get a piece of it? It looks like he does. It's close. McLaughlin just trying to get it over the goalie. Able to keep it at just a 1-goal deficit. Whether it was him or just the crossbar that did that, the Owls will be thankful. Ostrom getting double teamed there, and that's enough for the Owls to lose possession as McLaughlin rolls it along for Sosa. Sosa turns it back to McLaughlin, who's made the run. And Mastrantonio, despite running at a high speed, is able to knock that one before. It goes out for a corner kick. Sosa throws it in. Cheney gets the chest down, but couldn't connect on the whack at it. Mel up the pitch, chested down. Here's McLaughlin. Back to Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice having to retreat via Lobos. Turns it back. Roll out for a corner kick knocked away by Brandon Knapp. Kennedy Wealth Management is donating $50 to Ford Madison FC's mini pitch fundraising project. Each home corner kick taken by Ford Madison FC. So it's Devin Boyce, along with what looks like Wolfgang Prentice over there with them. It's Boyce's service that's headed away. And we're gonna get another Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Boyce connects with Cheney, but Cheney can't put it into the back of the net. It's just what you would want. Kristen Cheney rises up for it, but can't put it on frame. If he does so, it's going to be awfully hard to stop, no matter where it goes. Norte picks it up from Steven Dos Santos. Now it's Gallardo. Joe Gallardo lets it fly. That'll float harmlessly over top. Applying some pressure there. Definitely a bit lax from Madison there in the back. But here they come in the other direction. Kroll rolls it across, and Norte booting it out for another Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Boyce and Prentice once again over there. Devin Boyce, the one who will actually take it. A lot of air under this one. And it back across. Murphy takes the shot. And it goes wide. John Murphy trying to let it rip. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 in the new Sirius XM app. So 10 minutes in here in the second half. Forward Madison with a great chance to go ahead. The Owls prodding and finding windows of opportunities. Still trailing in this one. Mingo's sitting in a spot that would put them in the playoffs if they can hang on to this lead. Lock up the second group, and it would also mean a home match in the playoffs. Temperature not dipping down yet in Madison as we encroach upon September. It's around high 70s at the moment. It was in the 90s and humid earlier this week, according to Matt Glazer. So it felt like Florida up here. They had a bit of the fake fall before that. Teasing. Colder times are to come, but first, summer needed to have another punch before things wrapped up. Omaha, another one of the places that'll definitely be getting cooler by the time we get to the playoffs. Two substitutions coming in, and they're dangerous ones for Dom Casciato. Lagos Kunga in for Zico Lewis, the goal scorer. And then Pedro Dolabella making his return. And he steps in for Luca Mastrantonio. So perhaps a shift to a back three happening for Dom Casciato. As that leaves Milanese, Malone, and Dion Akoff as the traditional defensive players on the pitch for Coach Casciato. These substitutions brought to you by Festival Foods. Dolabella tied for fourth in league play with 7 goals scored. He also has 3 in Jägermeister Cup play. So in small company as far as double-digit goals combined in USL competitions this season. Leading goal scorer for Union Omaha despite his position on the pitch, Dolabella. He's always had a knack for scoring, though. Here's Lagos Kunga, a dangerous player in his own right. He can make plays happen with the ball at his feet. Now Akoff rolling it to Gallardo. His touch is poor. And now to roll out for a goal kick. Get yourself the latest Forward Madison merch online or at the Flamboyant team store at Bree Stevens Field. You'll probably get a bunch of the merch that you see on your screen right now being donned by Forward Madison fans. It's a lot of fun stuff to be sported and worn for Forward Madison. Laughlin plays that back to Sosa. Whistle blown by Edson Carval here. A free kick for forward Madison. Charlie Ostrom. One called for the foul. Prentice swinging that one in, headed away by Steven Dos Santos. Ostrom doing well there. Outside flag goes up anyway, though. Talking about the potential of temperature changing. Also means that the college soccer season is here, and it's already kicked off. These USL League One teams look to the guys who play in the college season, and when they graduate, many of them make their way to USL League One and can be impact players. Boys. So for Eddie Sosa. Trying to slide that inside for Cheney. Cheney back out to Boyce. Villalobos. Side for Prentice, but Dion Akoff stepping on it. And will now draw the foul. It'll be a yellow card for Wolfgang Prentice. That'll be his fourth in Jägermeister Cup play. The first of the 3 goal scorers this evening. I chatted with Don Casciato a little bit about the fact that the college season's starting and how that affects the way their staff is operating, because I know there's always a benefit to being able to see some players you're interested in person. But he told me the focus is on the here and the now, and to keep our eyes on the ball. Though he did mention that ultimately throughout the year, there's a little bit of that scouting and keeping eye on potential prospects, both at the college level, but also just anywhere, whether it be in the USL, whether it be outside the country, in the college ranks. That monitoring is happening. So not much changes once the college season starts for his side, and it makes sense because when the college season is starting, that means that you're into the crunch time of the season in USL. And this is the final round of action in group play for the Jägermeister Cup. Got a couple more weeks of regular season action, and then we got the postseason. Malone does well there to get that one away from immediate danger. Norty. Play that over to Malone. Milanese playing that one up for Ostrom. And that was nearly a stroke of great luck for Charlie Ostrom. McLaughlin out to Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice puts this one up, and there's no one on the end of that one. this one up for Bert Shipman. The USL League One is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Of course, the bulk of the games taking place here on ESPN+, but CBS Sports Network for that game on Wednesday. Two substitutions for Matt Glazer's team. Two familiar names coming out. It'll be Stephen Payne and Derek Gebhardt. Freddy Sosa and Wolfgang Prentice will make way for them. These substitutions brought to you by Festival Foods. Prentice getting his second goal in Jägermeister Cup play earlier this evening. Scored it in the second minute, actually. Really setting the tone. Two more changes taking way on Dom Casciato's side. See Charlie Ostrom coming off. It's one former Chicago Fire 2 man. Misael Rodriguez coming in, who is on loan from Chicago Fire 2. He'll be going in for Norte Norti. Meanwhile, it's Ryan Jiba who officially will sub in for Charlie Ostrom. Those substitutions brought to you by Festival Foods. Piece of paper being handed around with the instructions from the Omaha coaching staff. Pressure here nearly rewards Omaha. Madison able to stand tall there. Boyce playing it to Stephen Payne. Payne. Has that one come off of Knapp and returns to Knapp from the fresh substitute, Misael Rodriguez. Love to get him back going in the goal scoring category. Someone who got hot early in the year. Jiba. Not a bad ball inside! And Pedro Dolabella returning to the pitch and returning to the score sheet. It's wonderful from the Owls there. Look at this ball from Ryan Jiba, the substitute, to another substitute. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Not an out-and-out striker, Pedro Dolabella, by any means, but boy, does he know how to score. His 4th goal in the Jägermeister Cup, his 11th goal in USL League One competitions this year. And now it is a tie game, which means Madison have some work to do. They have got to win this game in regulation or in penalties in order to clinch their spot in the knockout round. If they lose in penalties, the door stays open. Omaha on the other side have effectively erased that 2-goal deficit, and in the process have further increased their lead in the goals scored race for that 4th and final spot in the playoffs. That puts them a whole 5 goals ahead of the 2 teams behind them in that category. 15 goals scored to Charlotte and Greenville's 10. I think that's pretty much locked up their spot in that regard, barring some truly absurd stuff. Akoff, another ball inside. There were 2 targets there, and it's kept in play. Jiba serves it in, knocked away by Shipman. But how about that finish? In the span of just moments, the Owls go from trailing to leading. And it's Steven Dos Santos who gets its leg up there and rocks it into the back of the net. Just springing into action. It's knocked upward by Bernd Shipman, which does make it harder for Steven Dos Santos to get his foot to that ball, but not hard enough. That is his 5th goal in the Jägermeister Cup competition. And now the Owls, the team that did not need to win this game, now have the lead in this one. And things have gone from bad to worse for Madison. Because they went from sitting on 15 points, or excuse me, sitting on 18 points, to now just having 15. Which opens the door for Lexington and Knoxville should the result hold. Lexington plays Chattanooga on Saturday. Knoxville plays Tormenta on Sunday. All Lexington would need to do is win their game, and they'd get the job done. Here's the ball, headed away by Dolabella. Murphy has that one denied by Malone. So a change for Matt Glazer. Aiden Macias will sub in for John Murphy. Macias missed a lot of time as of late. Looking to get back into the swing of things in this Festival Foods substitution. So as we look at the tiebreakers here, that could end up coming into play when everything is said and done. Doesn't appear that Knoxville have a way to pass by Madison as Gebhard rolls this one forward. Cheney has that one pop over top. There's a Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Devin Boyce. Swings this one inside. It's still in the fray. Villalobos follows up on it. Deflected outward. Crunching the numbers here. Knoxville actually do not have the ability to pass Madison, even if they tie Madison in points, due to what would be the third tiebreaker, or the second tiebreaker actually, because the wild card determination is the third or the first leg, but that would not be accounted for when it comes to the group stage. It'd be the total wins against teams in your group, which Madison would have Knoxville beat even if Knoxville were able to get all 3 points, which leaves just Lexington. If Lexington, as it stands right now, win their game against Chattanooga, they would advance on instead of Madison. There's a look at the standings brought to you by Dairyland. 3 points would mean they're at 16. Easy enough. They can accrue 2 points though. They win in penalty kicks, which would tie it up at 15 apiece, which would then beg the question of who would win in that tiebreaker. It would not come down to the head-to-head because they both won respective games in Jägermeister Cup play. That's the first of the tiebreakers as we get the substitution for Aaron Gomez in for Steven Dos Santos. This substitution brought to you by Festival Foods. Looking at the second tiebreaker, which is once again wins within your group, your small group as they're determined. Madison would have the edge over Lexington. So as it stands right now, Lexington would need to win in regulation to pass Madison, but Madison can shake that all up. If they can at least tie this game up and then win in penalties, as we get a yellow card. Yellow card given to Joe Gallardo as we get another substitution. Sharif J going to sub in for the captain, Mitch Osmond. So throw in all the firepower now for Matt Glazer. This Festival Foods substitution. As you run through the tie-breaking scenarios, it actually appears that Madison, if they can even just draw this game, they don't even need to win in penalties, would lock up their spot in the group. Given the fact they have the tiebreaker over Lexington, that would put them 3 points ahead. Lexington can only get 3 points against Chattanooga. Need to find an equalizer. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. We're going to get a send-off for a member of Madison's coaching staff. With some bookings being given to the home side staff. And one of them's going to make the walk to the locker room early here. Joe Gallardo behind the dead ball. Gallardo takes the shot and it hits the wall. Akoff puts this one in. Rodriguez. Some great moves there from Rodriguez. Akoff winning it back. And the Owls will push again. So to reiterate, now that we've parsed through all the information tiebreaker-wise, Madison just need a goal, just need a point to stave off Lexington. Just to offer a clarification after looking through all the different intricacies that come with. As Cheney gets a good step, Cheney! It beats Nuhu! And we're all tied up! From one end of the pitch to the other end, Madison looking to lock up their spot in the Jägermeister Cup playoffs. And the trademark acrobatics from Christian Cheney on the Dairyland replay. Has he done enough to lock up a postseason berth? And a home playoff game for that matter. Madison, after being up 2-0, conceding 3 straight goals, look to have squandered their clinching scenario, but now they've reclaimed it with a goal here. Aron Gomez gets the yellow card, his second in cup competition. Jay takes it over to the right corner, has to chase that ball down. He can't keep it in play. Now the Owls looking to see if they can play spoiler here late. Kunga has it back from Jiba. Drop ball. Dolabella will get things started once again for Union Omaha. Akoff one-on-one with Gebhard, and Gebhard does well there and earns the deflection on top of that. Sliding challenge there from Devin Boyce. For a moment won it back for Madison, but the Owls recollect the possession. Jiba had the last assist for Union Omaha. Jiba puts it up, and that one wide over top of everybody's heads. Out for a goal kick. There it is, 4 more minutes added on. Stoppage time brought to you by Just Coffee Co-op. Madison just looking to hang on to this lead, or this draw, excuse me, as they hold on to the lead in their group. Gebhard. Rolling this one over to Devin Boyce. Long ball forward for Garrett McLaughlin. Popped up by Marco Milanese. It's brought down by Jay, but then the touch eluded him. Lobos knocks that one away. Jay plays it up the pitch for Cheney. Blake Malone does well there to intervene, and Rashid Nuhu will get to it now. Worth noting that goal for Christian Cheney tying up this game and salvaging the point that Madison need in this matchup. It's also worth noting that this one floats over for Rodriguez, but instead collected by Burnt Shipman. Worth noting that this would mean that Omaha yet to find a win in the series this season against Ford Madison. It was a late goal the last time these two teams met too that denied them from having that satisfaction. In that instance, it was a 95th minute goal from Jacob Kroll to tie things up. Macias to Gebhardt. Back for Kroll. Here's Kroll's cross, punched over top by Rashid Nuhu. Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Chance for Madison to put the nail in the coffin. Lexington here in their group. They can nod one home here. Either way, they're in a good spot with time dwindling away. Nuhu able to get onto it. Is there time for one more breakaway chance, or is this one over? Certainly no urgency from Omaha. And there is your final whistle. Well, Madison needed to accrue enough points to solidify their spot in the playoffs. They accomplished that. Union Omaha just needed to score some goals to help their chances. They accomplished that. It's a 3-3 draw between Ford Madison and Union Omaha. And they will now go to penalty kicks. But first, we have some match day awards to give. First off, our save of the match, brought to you by Electric E-Bikes. And it had to be this one from Burnt Shipman. A double effort from him. Great first stop. And then he kept his head on a swivel and was quick to get back up on his feet, just to get off his feet once again to make the stop. And now we'll look at the play of the match, brought to you by Dairyland Insurance. Wonderful ball from Jimmy Villalobos down the pitch. Christian Cheney. Great touch to get by Marco Milanese as he puts his team into the playoffs. Got to keep in that celebration as well for Christian Cheney. We're going to step aside briefly for a break. When we come back, we'll have the penalty kicks here at Breese Stevens Field for the extra point.
And it just goes. Need to climb that hill? No problem. And if you're looking for speed, well, you've come to the right place. 28 miles per hour, up to 65 miles of range. And equipped with hydraulic brakes, this is the Electric XP 3.0. Fully foldable, fully assembled, ships free. Simple as that. Go to electricebikes.com and come ride with us.
It's an S. Oh, not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia.
Justice.
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 Justice from the ground up. Justice from the ground up.
Tomorrow, we've been expecting you. At TrueStage, we've been preparing for tomorrow for almost a century, helping businesses give their customers, members, and clients what they need to move forward with confidence. Because for us, the future brings possibility, protection, innovation, growth. With financial solutions across insurance, investments, and technology, the people you serve can take on tomorrow, today. So what are you waiting for? Tomorrow, here we come.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting new tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. We have got penalty kicks here at Breese Stevens Field. A 3-3 draw between Ford Madison and Union Omaha. Both teams pretty much accomplishing what was required of them as far as the standings are concerned. Madison clinched their spot in the playoffs with the point, staving off Lexington due to tiebreakers. Meanwhile, Omaha couldn't clinch anything with points, but they could help their case with goals, already in the lead in goals scored for that fourth wild card spot, and they tacked on 3 more this evening, which means that they have got quite the comfortable lead in that regard. They've got 16 goals forced, which puts them 6 goals ahead of Greenville and Charlotte, who would be the two competing, at least closest to competing to them in that regard. Now, a point for bragging rights up on the line. I also see it as a great chance to simulate the tension and the feel of a penalty kick shootout without the incredibly intense repercussions that usually come with penalty kicks. These teams practice them throughout the year, but it's different when you're at the training ground with nobody watching versus when there's a bunch of eyes on you. Pedro Dolabella, who scored the goal that gave Omaha the lead for the first time in the match, will be the first one to take. One-on-one with Bernd Shipman. And he puts it home. Bottom right corner, well struck. One in favor of Omaha. They're on the front foot. And now Devin Boyce goes up to the plate. Devin Boyce, always an oh-so-active player. All about the pitch. And he's into the back of the net with that one. And he gets the fans going. That's just the competitive nature kicking in for Devin Boyce. A 1-1 apiece between Madison and Omaha here. The first 2 kicks, very good from Pedro Dolabella and Devin Boyce. Now it's Joe Gallardo, who converted a penalty last time out against the Richmond Kickers. The Week 18 Player of the Week. And he chips it up. The Panenka gets over top of Bernd Shipman. Dastardly stuff from Joe Gallardo. Now in comes Garrett McLaughlin. Came on as a substitute to start the second half, replacing Juan Galindrez. They're more than capable of converting from the penalty spot. And he does so, oh so calmly. Rolls it in the bottom right corner. It's perfect all across the board after 4 takes. So in comes Marco Milanese. Perhaps looking to find a good way to cap off the night. Second year Italian backline player for Tom Casciato. And it's stopped! Saved by Bernd Shipman. It has been a rough night for Marco Milanese. At the own goal in the first half, Christian Cheney gets the best of him on that equalizing goal late, and then denied here by Bernd Shipman. Certainly not the kind of night he was looking for. And in comes Derek Gebhardt with the chance to give his team the advantage. Derek Gebhardt in his 4th year as a Mingo. And he converts with some venom too. And with that, the Mingos have the edge. In comes Aron Gomez. Player who's reunited with Dom Casciato after spending some time with each other at the El Paso Locomotive. And Gomez buries this one. A look on the Dairyland replay. His name get announced over the comms. Sharif J making his way forward. One of the substitutes in this game for Matt Glazer was looking to spark something to find that equalizing goal, and they were able to find it. And Jay can put the pressure on Omaha here. And he does so. Spotless for Madison thus far. And the Owls have to convert on this next one. They're a penalty away from locking up the extra point here in celebration of clinching their group. Misael Rodriguez steps up to the plate with hopes to extend this. Rodriguez puts it home. So now it's up to forward Madison to tie this one up in a bow, that is. And it's Christian Cheney, the man who punched their ticket onto the Jägermeister Cup playoffs, can now give them an extra point in this affair. These are two teams that could very well meet up once again in postseason play, whether it be in the Jägermeister Cup or in the USL League One playoffs. So any chance to get one up on the other one, there's a chance worth taking. And Christian Cheney closes this one. An extra point to celebrate for Madison. And the Mingos are gonna need another round because they're moving on to the semifinals in the Jägermeister Cup. Perfect from the penalty spot. They earn the extra point over Union Omaha in a 3-3 draw. And they have solidified their spot. As we look at Christian Cheney, the man who sent them ahead. He is our man of the match, scoring that much-needed goal to tie things up and get them that point. And a match brought to you by Festival Foods. Playoff clinching goal and the point clinching penalty kick. Christian Cheney. He's the guy we wanted to watch out for at the beginning of the match, and for good reason. He has that pedigree. He has that clutch gene. It's not going to be the last time that Christian Cheney has some late game heroics. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one. We have quite a few highlights to dig into from the beginning to the end. Starting in the 2nd minute, Timmy Mel finds Wolfgang Prentice. And what a finish this was as we start going through the Just Coffee Co-op full-time highlights. Perfectly placed. Then we have maybe the low light of the highlights, Marco Milanese and Rashid Nuhu. Different wavelengths, and it results in a 2-0 lead for Forward Madison. Everything looking so good for the home side, but Dom Casciato's side would find a quick answer. It would come in the form of Akoff playing it across, and Zico Lewis punching it home. Giving some life to Omaha in this game, and giving them another goal to help pad their lead in the goals forced category. But they weren't done on the goal scoring category because Jiva played across, and Pedro Dolabella would send it home to tie it up at 2 apiece. But they still weren't done scoring. They'd get another one just moments later. And this one would go over the heads of a couple of targets, looked to be the end of the play, but then here's Ryan Jiva keeping the play alive. And then Steven Dos Santos, after the ball's pot up in the air, but not high enough. He gets his boot on it, and he gives his team the lead, really endangering Madison's chances, but Villalobos with a beautiful ball drops down for Cheney. Cheney gets the best of his marker, and although Nuhu gets a piece of it, Cheney gets it by the goalkeeper and sends his team on to the next round of the tournament. Only save, the only stop in the penalty kick shootout. Milanese once again on the bad end of the highlight, and then Cheney once again on the good end of it, sending it home and giving his team the extra point. There are your full-time stats brought to you by Rhyme. I mean, look at all those shots and shots on target. This one was a good one. Lots of goals, lots of action and excitement. What more can you ask from the Jägermeister Cup? With that, that means another spot has been locked up in the playoffs. Madison joins Northern Colorado in that regard. Omaha in a good spot, but not guaranteed at this point as the wild card team. And then tomorrow, the Charlotte Independent and the Greenville Triumph will vie for that other spot. And with that, that is where this one will end. Madison's next game will be on the road against Chattanooga next Saturday. Meanwhile, it's on the road against Spokane for Dom Casciato's side on Wednesday on CBS Sports Network. But for our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoenster, saying thank you for tuning in. We hope you had a lot of fun. We certainly did. And so long, and until next time, your final score here, 3 apiece between the Mingos and the Owls.